So today is the 9th of September. It is 9 p.m. Singapore time. So you're joining us from Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, the Philippines, good evening. If you're joining us from Europe, good afternoon. And if you're joining us from the United States, good morning. Thank you so much for being on. 6 years, folks, almost, we're in our 6.5 year. So happy for you to be joining us. And if you look behind me, because most of you know that I'm usually in my office, I'm actually in a totally different locale, which is really pretty cool. Can you see all those super cool sports memorabilia and mementos behind me? This is a big deal. So, you know, I'm always in my same spot. I almost never move. So for me to move, you know this has to be big. Let me share my screen with you. Hold on one second. So for those of you who are joining me for the first time, my name is Elena Jordan. This is a weekly Zoom call that we run for our team. And our team is really all over the world, which is why I greet everybody from different time zones. I want to say thank you to the Presidential Diamond team. You are a dynamic group of leaders and inspirational. You work super hard. And whether you're joining us for the first time, someone invited you to this call. And we're very, very happy that you were able to come on and be with us today. Today, first thing first, I'm going to talk about September monthly specials. And you know me, I always talk super fast, but I'm going to do this double time so that we have lots of time with Sean. But I want to go through the specials for our 4 key markets. You know that the ideas expressed in today's call are based on the book, Essential Oils, Healthcare for Today, A Beginner's Guide. I am the co-author of that book. It is fondly known as the LRP book. I'm getting a couple of people chit-chatting in the chat. I don't know what's happening here. Let me just check on you. I hope you're all good. Microphone muted. Uh-oh, here we go. I think you have to check. Okay, all better? Okay, good, everyone. Let's keep going. This is Mr. Sean Callagy. And this is actually his Facebook page. And this is a recording or a snapshot of him speaking on Tony Robbins' stage. So if you've ever wanted to have close proximity to someone who's really famous and a big influencer, this is your time. And I love his smiling face in the corner there. He just looks so cheerful and genuine. And I have to say, I've had the great good fortune to spend a lot of time with Sean one-on-one and with his team. And that's really always the way he looks. He's not scary, he's not intimidating, and I think you're just gonna love the message that he has for us today. So let's get started. US or NFR specials, not for resale. Number 1 is 10% off thyme oil, thought to impart courage to its bearer. Thyme oil was given to knights and warriors before they went into battle by ladies of the Middle Ages, so this is right up our alley. I would say Sean Callagy is definitely a knight for our age. Thyme was often placed beneath the pillows to help promote a peaceful sleep and to ward off nightmares. And thyme has specific chemistry that supports a healthy immune system. And that's the way I've used it in the past, especially with my kids. So for moms out there, thyme oil is the thing you want to get started with. 6 benefits for thyme oil: fight sore throats, prevents food poisoning, may fight cancer. At the very least, carvacrol, which is one of the key ingredients, has anti-tumoral properties in fighting cancerous cells. It can help to lower blood pressure and cholesterol levels, boost your mood, and naturally is a natural remedy for bronchitis, which is how I started to use it. Product of the month is rosemary, and when you think rosemary, you want to think brain, brain, brain. So whenever you're thinking of ADD, ADHD, anyone who's having trouble thinking, focusing, concentrating, studying, think of rosemary on the back of the neck. Rosemary is famous for its applications in the culinary world, of course, but it's terrific for everyday life, for healthy looking hair, a relaxing massage. Chemical makeup of rosemary makes its renewing properties both energizing and settling. And rosemary can be taken internally to help reduce occasional fatigue and nervous tension. I would apply 1 to 2 drops to a desired area, diluting with a carrier oil to minimize any skin sensitivity, especially if you're working on children that are smaller than the age of about 12. You can level up your rewards this month If you actually jumping to the 20% level in loyalty rewards, if you're placing an order of at least 150 PV in the month of September, that's pretty cool for all of my newbies out there, because you're starting at only 10% though, so this is gonna double your percentage. Please place your orders as quickly as possible. We've got a lot going on in September. Please don't forget. Now, Singapore. 10% off on Response X. For my US team, this is commonly known as Correct X. Helps to smooth skin irritations, improve skin texture. Terrific for any sort of lumps or bumps. I like to use it as a substitute for some of our topical antibacterials, which is where I think it gets its name. I like the big red X on it that looks like X marks the spot. Product of the month in Singapore is cedarwood, which naturally repels insects, is great for feelings of relaxation, helps to keep skin looking healthy. You want to diffuse 3 to 4 drops to create a relaxing environment, and 1 or 2 drops added to your facial toner or moisturizer can have great clarifying properties. This is something that I've used on my son for years, actually running it up and down his spine. He had been a very nervous and agitated sleeper, kind of jumping up and talking and walking all over the house, and it really helped to calm his emotions and have him sleep restfully. Our 3 promotions are a 200 PV promotion, Immortelle Anti-Aging Blend. So you're going to have a retail, if you purchase your retail order, you're going to receive a 200 PV order. You're going to receive a free Immortelle, 10% off on CorrectX. And finally, before the 15th of the month, the product of the month is cedarwood. Okay, Malaysia, we're almost there, folks. Save 10% in September, again on CorrectX, so we don't have to talk too much about that. It is ringgit, usual wholesale is ringgit 55, so you're gonna get a 10% discount on that. And primary benefits of CorrectX, again, soothing the skin, convenient, travel-friendly. It's a small tube, not a giant tube like a full tube of toothpaste, and it absorbs quickly into the skin with a gentle, non-irritating formula. September, again, cedarwood. Traditionally for 125 PV, it is worth ringgit 79. So that's a big deal. Okay, product of the month, cedarwood, CorrectX, and again, the 200 PV promotion for a free Immortelle roll-on. Okay, Philippines, last but not least, we're almost there. Cedarwood, this is Philippine peso 850. So imagine receiving that for free. All of my newbies in the Philippines, I'm gonna be there for your official grand opening on November 8th. And while this isn't an official announcement, you can mark it down on your calendars. November 8th, Philippine grand opening, and I will be there. 10% off promotion is Intune, which is Philippine peso 225, which is a great savings. And finally, a 200 PV promotion of Immortelle, which is a savings of 4,550 pesos. This is a tremendous deal, folks, from September 1st through September 30th. Okay, whew, let's do our DIYs real fast so you have some ideas. Take some screenshots of these. So you have for uplifting, 1 drop of thyme, 2 eucalyptus, and 3 drops of lime. If you have your cameras ready, go ahead, take a photo, or you can do a screenshot. And you know, all of this information will be posted on LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. So this is not the last time you're going to see it. Essential oil blend for focus for my teachers out there who just went back to school. Vetiver, peppermint, rosemary, and tangerine for kids or adults. And finally, sleep tight, 3 drops vetiver, 5 drops cedarwood, 5 drops lavender, and then fill the remainder of the bottle with fractionated coconut oil. Okay, did I talk fast enough? You're gonna follow, all of these links are gonna be posted on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And these are our 4 different pages. Now, you know, most of these are listed under my name, Elena Jordan, but you should talk to or find your team leaders page, because we will be posting all of this information on the team leaders page. We want to make sure this goes out to the entire team of 15,000, not just to the people that follow me, but to the people that follow all of you. Okay, Here we go. So let's talk a little bit about Sean Callagy, and while he's getting ready to come online. Sean Callagy is an entrepreneur, a national speaker, a philanthropist, one of America's top trial attorneys. He's an online personality and creator of various peak performance technologies. And get this, folks, he's actually legally blind. And he's a warrior and adventurer. I've actually seen videos of him running with the bulls and surfing in kind of rough weather. So you've got to get on. If you Google Sean Callagy, Sean R. Callagy, Esquire, you're going to see some amazing things and projects that he's been involved in. As you saw, he was on Tony Robbins' stage. He's a byproduct of his technologies. He's one of only 2 attorneys out of 1,220,000 in America to achieve top 100 national jury verdicts, and the only one who was legally blind. He is the founder and president of Callagy Law, more than 100+ team with offices in 5 states, a charitable foundation, an investment company, Callagy Enterprises, and Callagy Training and Development, which is where you all are going to jump in today. It empowers and co-creates results that fulfill dreams throughout an unparalleled human breakthrough technologies. Additionally, Mr. Callagy is the world's greatest 3-minute online 2020 Vision video series and is the host of Sean's 2020 Vision podcast, which is particularly interesting today because we want to make sure that everybody's noting that we know Mr. Callagy as the 2020 guy. Mr. Callagy is also on the board of Idea Lab New York with Jonathan Cohen and Bill Gross, the most quantitatively successful entrepreneurs and unicorn creators in the history of the world. And finally, Mr. Callagy's causes include creating unity through truth with empathy, dramatically reducing the unemployment rate for the blind, and leading a mastery movement that challenges you to see what you don't see. Mr. Callagy is now on a mission to influence influencers to merge ecosystems so that 1 + 1 = 1 trillion. So I met Mr. Callagy, and here I'm going to actually stop the share of my screen so you can see my little smiling face here. Let's see, stop the share. There we go. Okay, hi everybody. So I met Sean back in February of this year at a professional event that was sponsored by him for a group of doctors. Many of you know I have an assistant and her name is Julia. Julia's mom and dad are both professional doctors, and they were invited to the event and they invited me. And when I asked, what is it? What's going to happen? They said, just come along. It's going to be amazing. And so I did. And I heard Sean, I heard about his mission, and he was so inspiring to me that I began to go back for more of these kind of short intro sessions. I went to 4 intro sessions. I know it sounds totally wacky, but I did. And you could say, why did you need to be invited to something, introduced to something 4 times? It wasn't that. It was just the dynamism, the energy, and my idea that I felt like, wow, this is something that I want to be attached to. So I went 4 times. And then more recently, I went to a 3-day session with Sean and was able to meet some of his partners from the Tony Robbins world, the Platinum Partners, and really begin to talk to him about what was going on and what was this movement that he was creating. So how did it affect me, and how do I feel it's going to affect you? Number 1 is I felt that it helped me with my self-mastery. So now most of you who know me know I'm pretty self-mastered. I'm on here every morning at 9 without fail. There's really not a single week that goes by, except for Labor Day weekend, of course. Not last weekend I wasn't on here, that I'm on this call and I'm teaching you. I've been following up with this team. So my self-mastery is strong, but I began to see places where it could get stronger. Then process mastery. Each and every one of us has a certain process that we need to follow to be able to see success either in this business or in our life in general. Those processes that we need to kind of master and get better at are not always very apparent to us. We see sort of what I'll call the lag indicators. We see our results, and then we're disappointed at what we've tried to create before that, so that those processes become super important. That was another way that I really kind of lassoed my performance. And then the third was influence mastery. getting in front of the camera and also talking to people in a way that was dynamic, that moved the needle, and also one-on-one helped me to bring the person from hello to yes within a shorter, more focused period of time. So my influence, the way that I was talking to other people and helping them to see the vision that we have in doTERRA and also we have as a team became more focused and more dynamic. So what did I see? I began to see my sales and my revenue go sort of like this. And that was a really important lesson for me. So I want to introduce Sean Callagy. I want him to talk to you a little bit about what's happening now and why this is important for this team. And for those of you who are already at the National Convention and are missing this live, it is going to be recorded, and I want to make sure that you see the links below. We're posting all the links on all social media. And so without further ado, I'm going to ask for you to please give a warm welcome to Sean Callagy.
Well, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
How are you?
Fine.
Amazing. Thank you all out there. That was an amazing introduction. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I really
You're welcome.
it.
I hope I didn't talk too fast.
No. And thank you to everybody for being on this morning. I'm excited to be here, and I'm so impressed by you and what you're up to in the world. I've gotten to see how you communicate, how you work, and you're a person of amazing integrity, and it's clear why you're successful and leading others to be the same. So thank you.
Thank you so much. So I want to ask you really just, let's start with the first question, which is the what.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about your program. Tell us a little bit how, when we first started talking, why are you here?
Yeah. So thank you. So I think the issue is, for me, I grew up as an athlete. I have a hereditary eye condition that's led to me being legally blind. I stopped driving only about 7 years ago, but I had a lot of success playing sports growing up. I was a Division I college athlete. I hoped to go on and play professionally. And that was really my first access to the concept that really good people who care a lot and work really hard at things don't produce the results that some other people do. And I saw it in athletics. I wasn't the best player when I was 11 years old. In fact, I was sort of, I was good, but there was guys that were better. And I ended up passing so many people during my high school career, following models of peak performance that other people just weren't aware of or didn't execute on. So that was there. And then in law school, I did the same. I won the game of law school. And then when I transitioned into being an attorney, what I really saw was that the people who had the most freedom were the people who were doing what you do, the people who can influence other people with integrity to bring about results and outcomes. And I had no idea how to do that because people called it sales. And growing up, I became an attorney. I didn't have money in my family. I was $100,000 in debt coming out of law school. And I was so overwhelmed by the prospect of I have to learn to sell. How am I going to learn how to sell? Who's going to teach me? That's manipulative and lying and cheating and dirty and ugly. And I had
all felt that way before, right?
Yeah, and I had to go through a process of reframing what it meant to sell. That it's a process of educating people to hear you, to accept what you have to say, and to go forward on acting on what you're saying, again, with integrity. And that transition blew my mind. And I went from being afraid and scared to putting together and synthesizing programs. The first person I accessed was Tony Robbins, and then Jay Abraham, and then Napoleon Hill, and Dale Carnegie, and Og Mandino, and others. And But a second question bothered me. So I had this great acceleration. And all of a sudden, in less than 2 years, which I've never heard before, I had 40 people working for me. I don't say that to be impressive. I say it as credibility for the technology that I was putting into place, human technology. But what bothered me, Elena, was that so many people were not producing the results they wanted. They were going to the same seminars. They were hearing the same information that I was, but they weren't getting the results they wanted. And that bothered me. So I really sat down to solve for that problem in the late 90s into the early 2000s. And I built a training and development platform and helped other people start doing this. And I created what I call the formula of formulas. And to be really clear, because folks out there are probably like, well, I don't know who you are.
Right.
So why don't I know who you are? I know who some of these other names are, but I don't know yours. And it was because I defined success differently for a decade. I defined a decade and a half, actually. I defined success as being independently wealthy and having the ability to be at every one of my children's activities.
How many kids do you have?
I have 3.
And how old are they now?
They are now 20 in a week, 17 and 16.
Okay.
My son's 19, about to be 20, daughters of 17 and 16. And they were my priority. Attending every game, coaching every game. I had the blessing and privilege as an attorney and somebody who had a training development platform of not setting foot into my office for 3 months at a time.
Okay.
Not answering a text message, not being in communication. I was in the, if anybody's familiar with the work of Tim Ferriss, creating the 4-hour work week.
Yes.
Where I was a business owner,
Mm-hmm.
not operator,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a remarkable space to be in. That's how I defined success. So as I defined it, I achieved success.
I love to think of that as sort of the double win. So
Yeah.
we're thinking of the win at work and also the win at home, so that we're never compromising one for the other.
For sure. And it was amazing. So then as my children, I had always in my mind, when my children reached the age when my son was going to college and my daughters are busy and it's like hard to like wrestle them to have dinner because they're friends all the time, right?
Sure.
It became something that I said, I'm going to relaunch this platform.
Mm.
And a little more than a year ago, I began in earnest and I started shooting videos and building relationships, and then I'm speaking on stages in front of thousands of people. And it's been a remarkable 20 years, but it's been a particularly remarkable year as we've transitioned into this space.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. That gives us a great background. I hope for some of you that are listening to this, you're thinking to yourself, that's kind of me. I've got those either teenage children or college age children, or I've got young ones and I'm sort of transitioning from one stage to another, or maybe I've been in one career and I'm going on to this doTERRA career. How is this going to help me to make the transition? So talk to us a little bit about what's the training program, sort of what I started with you for, I guess, back in February was the first time we actually met. And talk to me a little bit about, for the folks that are on here today, how would this work for them?
Sure. So what I'd love to do, if that's okay, in that space is to add value.
Right.
So the last thing that, and for you guys out there, I'm not coming on to this call to try to sell you something. I believe that the first thing we have to do with everybody is to add value.
Great.
So in answering your question, let's add some value. Well, right?
Love it.
So I think it is clear, as Elena pointed out, that your process mastery or the things that you do in terms of this business will really isolate it to creating more sales meetings. Is it fair, right, that you can't have people who agree to move forward with this opportunity or to buy any of the products, the amazing products that you have? And thank you. You shared some of those amazing products with me. That you can't have that unless you're communicating with somebody either in person or over an online situation.
And communicating effectively so they understand what you're talking about. Yeah. Right.
So there's two components that I really break these out into. Is first, what's the process by which you're creating with the least investment of money, time, and energy to get people to sit down and have a conversation with you about this opportunity, the products or services. So that I would call marketing process mastery, the generation of relationships that produce sit downs at a more accelerated level, right? So that's one.
Great.
You were doing that by coming to my practice mastery sessions.
Right.
And you were doing that by meeting with groups of doctors in that environment.
Right.
Fair?
Yeah.
And then you were doing that when you came to other sessions and you were meeting people that were relationships of mine that were very open-minded, entrepreneurial type folks. Mm-hmm. And I think you met some interesting, cool people there too.
Super cool. Yes.
Right? So you're doing that by us communicating and working on things together. Mm-hmm. All of these we would call ecosystem mergers that creates the opportunity for you, Elena, to have more qualified meetings with people about the products you have or the opportunity. Is that fair?
Yes. And we all know what a qualified meeting is. Sometimes we get in a face-to-face with someone, and when we start talking to them about the products, they look at us as if to say, wait, I'm here for what? We want to be talking to people that are ready to get started. So by qualified, Sean is basically saying someone who says, yes, I understand and I want to go.
Yeah. And how do you find those in group?
Right.
So that's what process mastery is. And so I'm going to move over to influence mastery for a moment, talk about that. And you keep guiding me on time because I want to really add value.
We're good.
Yeah, great.
Okay.
So in terms of influence mastery, the dynamic there is a science to take us from hello to yes with people. Mm-hmm. Okay. Hello to yes. And what I believe wholeheartedly is that most people stop a long time ago at getting better.
Okay.
And this is the key distinction. The key distinction is when you're already great at something, and let's say it's your influence, your ability to go from hello to yes, you're already great, and you get just a little bit better, the rewards for most people, they think, well, it's not worth the effort because I'm already great, and I'm only going to get a little reward. The rewards become exponential. And they become exponential in the space of your influence, and also your process in creating those more qualified meetings. For example, there's a gentleman we know in common, Rob Gill, who in our work together, he went from 8 qualified sales meetings a month. Yeah. So think of yourselves out there. You're having these meetings to talk about this opportunity with people.
Right.
And if you're at 8 meetings, think of this right now. You're at 8 meetings. Imagine going from 8 to 175 meetings a month. And you might go, I can't have 175 meetings a month on one person.
Right.
You can leverage it, have other team members, other people that you're working with. But imagine that's 22x. Imagine 22xing your sales meetings over a 4-month period.
Yeah.
That's what Rob Gill did, who was already making $1 million a year.
And he went from 8 qualified meetings a year where he was absolutely in a powerful space with his clients, and then sort of jumped incrementally, I would say,
to
25, and then from 25 to maybe 55 or 60, and then finally up to 125. So it wasn't like 175, excuse me, 175. So that progression from just 8, which you think about as really 2 meetings a week, which is not bad, right? It's a steady income, and it's a way to keep replicating yourself and replicating your business. But to go from 8 to 175 in a month is massive, as we know.
Yeah. And so the secondary piece though is, so this, the conceptual part, the planning part, process mastery, for where do you go? Who do you talk to? What do you do? And if we have time at the end, I'll give a couple of ideas for your team.
Yeah.
But in the influence mastery space, it's like, once you have the idea, it's like, oh, let me go talk to Oprah. Let me go talk to some other major influencer that has hundreds of thousands of followers online. Let me go talk to a doctor. That's great. That's the idea. Okay. But then how do you get them to see their future in you, to see their future in you and want to say yes, hello, yes. And there's a mechanism to it. There's an advanced science to it. And that's how not only have I built successfully the companies that I've built, not only did I move from just being a participant at Tony Robbins events to being on stage and being in the Lions organization there and having the blessing and privilege as a part of being in the Lions to go to his home for a 3-day weekend, which is just a remarkable experience. But also the ability to win these trials and take a jury and go from hello to yes with a jury. It's all the same. Yeah. None of that, by the way, has anything to do with me being an attorney. All of it has everything to do with my study of how human beings are influenced with integrity.
What's interesting is the story that you told me earlier was that when you first started this process of learning about what was influence mastery and how was it going to really vault you to the next level, you actually attended a course yourself. And then you realized that some of the people that were teaching the course had never applied the principles that they were teaching. So this is a big deal, folks, because you see this on the social media platforms all the time. People on Instagram and on Facebook that are saying, join my course, do this thing, meet with me. But when you really, claw back or open the curtain, if you will, they don't have a track record. And so they've really never taught these concepts and become successful at specifically what you are trying to become successful at. And that's the thing that I feel like, having worked with you, you're in the trenches, you've done it yourself, you've shown other people how to do it, and you're continuing to show other people how to do it in a space of integrity and love and friendship. Because I feel like we're actually sitting in Sean's house right now. I don't know if I ever expected to sit in Sean's house, but it's just that idea that you're a very open, giving person. And I think that's what the beauty of this whole process.
Thank you. And I believe that the only way that we win is if we help other people win. And so let me get a little more specific for me.
Talk to me, yeah.
So a lot of sales training is rooted in some level fundamentally of manipulation.
Yes.
And even if the intention isn't there, we feel like when we're going to ask somebody to do something with us, that somehow it associates ourselves to the taking from somebody else, getting something from them. And that fundamentally is such a critically necessary emotional shift for people to have in their own self-mastery, because without it, it's this discomfort. And I am 100% positive that in your business, in every business, it exists. When you go, hey, I want to talk to you about something, that moment is uncomfortable. And you said, and then they're there and they're like, wait a minute, we're talking about this? I thought, what's happening? Yeah. Right? It's an incredibly critical emotional piece. Now, the way that we do that and create those shifts, there's a science to it. Because for many of you, I am 100% positive there's nobody on your team, there's nobody, this is certainly not who you are, I've known you for a long time, that you're not trying to force somebody into this opportunity. Right? You're sharing things that you believe in, and you know that this works for an immense amount of people. And this is a space that many more people should be in than actually are. They don't know that. And the communication model, when you're feeling internally some discomfort or concern, nervousness, and they certainly are, because people say no for emotional reasons, not logical reasons.
Yeah.
So there's 4 steps and 10 indispensable elements that need to exist for you to go from hello to yes with people about buying your products, about the opportunity, about saying yes to you to become a business partner, to buy real estate from you, to buy anything. It just is all the same.
Sure.
And if I could share the first critical step, and we certainly don't have time today to go through all of it, but the first critical step is the building of emotional rapport. And you're like, no kidding, I've heard that before. Great. But do you have a model that can take you from hello to wide open emotional rapport 100% of the time? Where it isn't, oh, I see the things on your wall, you must like sports, right? Well, no, in fact, it was my ex-wife that likes sports. I hate sports. I'm kidding. That's not the truth.
No,
right?
no, but then
you're guessing.
Right.
You're speculating.
Yeah.
We should never be guessing. And there's 5 places to operate, just so I give you a little bit of like tangible. Everybody has been somewhere. Everybody is somewhere. Everybody is going somewhere. Everybody, meaning have dreams, they're going somewhere transcendently, aspirationally. Everybody has challenges, and everybody has things that are working well. The staying in that space with people and understanding how to use open-ended questions only and level 5 listening, which means you're not taking it back to you. You don't ask me, hey, Sean, how's everything going? And great. And by the way, how was your weekend? Oh, it was wonderful. I had the blessing and privilege of doing some surfing this weekend. And you go, oh, I love surfing too.
Let me tell you about what I did.
Right. Yeah. That's not that destroys rapport. It doesn't enhance rapport. And at the masterful level, most people want what Oprah said, which, by the way, interesting. I just woke up to find out that my videos are called 2020 Vision, and Oprah just announced her 2020 Vision World Tour. So Oprah and I have to have a conversation like, hey, Oprah, we need to talk of why you want to use the title of my program. And I'm not kidding, but I love Oprah, and I'm sure it's going to have a very happy ending. So, but what occurred to me a long time ago is that what she said is true in her final episode. She said that the reason she held the microphone for 30,000 people and is such a powerful, amazing, inspirational influencer and a person of incredible achievement, a woman who came from massive abuse, who came from all sorts of challenges, an African-American woman in America, incredible, every statistical disadvantage, right? She said she held the microphone for 30,000 people, became what she was, because she told everyone through her body language, her words, and her approach to everything she did, I see you, I hear you, and what you say matters to me. If that's what you're doing and you're listening, and the people you're communicating with, which, by the way, I have a precise integrity-filled science to help you reduce that outcome, 50% of the people that I communicate with now one-on-one cry. 50%. Yeah. And they cry because they're not heard. They're not heard by their significant others. They're not heard by their spouse. They're not heard by, I'm sure, business partners. They're heard by their friends. They're not heard by their parents. They're just not heard because we have such poor lower level listening skills. So 2 of the 10 indispensable elements are level 5 transformational listening. And a second is that you have to love everyone. Longer stories for a different day how to get there. Yeah. But when you have those elements, people feel that and they're calm and relaxed and ready to communicate in a space of integrity. And that's just step 1. And those are 2 of the 10 elements. So as you're thinking, my value leave in this moment, and we can go from wherever we want to go from here. Sure. I'm happy to add even more value. Is number 1, to become very intentional in your process mastery about who it is you're communicating with. So you want to be communicating with people that have groups of people that would be likely partners for you in this business. So doctors, I would think, would be one. Sure. Coaches would potentially be another. Help me with some other folks.
Physical therapists.
Spa owners.
Right. chiropractors, I guess that would fall under doctors,
Yeah.
even people that are looking for just a secondary stream of income, but are interested in general in the natural health
Right.
space.
So potentially, so what I love the first grouping. They're very specific. When you get into the second grouping of people looking for secondary income, what we have to ask ourselves is, okay, where might people looking for secondary income gather?
Right.
Because we don't know where they gather.
Sure.
Right. There's not necessarily a website of, hey,
right.
but what we have is what comes up for me is potentially people in the PTA.
Sure.
Right. That are looking a part of associations and organizations that are maybe volunteer related. They're looking, a lot of folks, correct me if I'm wrong, Elena, a lot of the folks in this world are people looking also for connection.
Oh, yes.
They're looking for fulfillment. So this incredible vehicle not only helps people, your vehicle, not only helps people make more money, it's doing it in less time, over time. In the beginning, it's time intensive. There's some time, right?
Yeah.
But eventually it's with more magic and fulfillment. You go to a convention, you're on your amazing calls every day. It helps people connect to something that not only helps them make more money, but helps them connect with their family more deeply, love themselves more, build a better relationship and interaction with the world. Like they're just vibrating, excuse me, at a different level. So to me, the first space is the question of who do you want to gather with? And then in addition, in that space, to see yourself eventually as a speaker. You're a speaker. Do an amazing job. You're a speaker. It's inside of you. Whether it's online or in person, to develop that skill set, which moves us into the second piece, which we've talked about already, influence mastery, reinforcing. Excuse me. There's a science that you go from opening up. The 4 steps are emotional rapport building. We talked about a moment ago. People have pain. Yeah. And people act out of pain, not desire for pleasure. Right. So there must be a mechanism where their pain, if you're giving them the benefits only of coming to work in this opportunity, buying the products, their pain is going to overcome the pleasure, typically, because they're going to want the pain is, their pain is not making a mistake, not doing something, having their spouse go, you did what? Yeah. What is this? You bought this thing? What is this? Right. Yeah. They need to be connected to their pain of not buying it and what that's keeping them from. Longer story for a different day. Third is when they have their pain, you have to develop your heroic, unique identity where you're able to communicate through story to people so they see their future in you. They're like, I know that Elena, I know that Mary, I know that everybody out there, I know you can help me get to a better place where I want to go. The value, here's the key. People are assessing the value of building a relationship with you. Even if it's through doTERRA, they're not even as concerned with doTERRA as they are with you. Yeah. Do you have a value proposition, and not an economic one, where they see that you can bring them to a different place in their life? More money, less time, more magic. That's what everybody's looking for. Yeah. When I could connect, I was on the phone with somebody who was on the cover of Forbes Asia, and they're becoming a client. They're not becoming a client for any other reason than we built a relationship and they believe I can help them do the types of things they want to. That doesn't happen by me just calling them up and going, hey, I'm really good at doing this. No. Right? Yeah. Finally, agreement formation. And agreement formation is the real space of different energies. You need to understand there's different energies to each step. We're in step 1 of emotional rapport building. We want to be much more connected to our goddess, loving, open, flowing energy. As we move to step 4 in agreement formation, maintaining integrity, we want to be more in what I would call our Zeus energy. These are not men and women. These are different spaces where we're much more clear, decisive, precise, moving forward, cutting off. We're not leaving it to sort of flow. We want to be helping people walk through their fear and make a decision. So my simple point by articulating some of those things, which I'm very confident, if you just are more intentional with who you're having meetings with, building some level of group connection with them through speaking or online, training, value add, and you're very intentional about how you build emotional rapport, loving people, listening more deeply, we've created a massive access to acceleration. There's a ton more to talk about, but that's at least a preliminary. Well, here's the other thing that I want to mention. I felt when I started first talking to you, Sean, that I wanted to somehow be part of the ecosystem that you had created and were creating. Yeah. And what I've loved about being in this space
is it doesn't end. It's not like I went to some sort of a lecture, I saw someone on a stage, and then they walk off the stage, and then I'm going back to my regular world, and I have no access to that person maybe ever again. Or maybe I only have electronic access to them. One of the things I love about Sean is that he is very accessible, very real. I mean, the fact that you even got on this webinar this morning, I think means a lot to me, and I'm sure it means a lot to all of our listeners today. That sort of that warmth, that creating of community, and also that merging of ecosystems. So I'm looking at the people that are on the call, and I can see some of the names, and I know you're joining us from really all different parts of the world, but I want you to know, hey Benjamin, hey Sihan, Chantal, I know you're on here. You're the people that are sort of the driving force with many of your teams in bigger markets. I want to make sure, I see Jennifer Minikis is on here, Lillian, a lot of people, Lisa Kutz. You're driving a movement, if you will. And what this is doing is helping you to become part of an enormous ecosystem that really has branches, almost like a tree, if you will, but very living and growing and green. This is an evergreen sort of proposition, and that's what I love about this. So I wanted to go into maybe the last step. We're almost out of time. I want to give you like 5 more minutes, and then I have to kind of wrap it up. I mean, everybody's been so super generous with your time, and you've been super generous with your time. I guess, how do they, if the people that are listening are interested in finding out more, or maybe just investigating, what's their process and what can they do?
So the way that, and I've been doing this for a long time, the most effective way for us to keep adding value for you is to have a complimentary session with us.
Oh.
A complimentary coaching and training session, which I'm happy to offer.
Me too.
To all your folks, and you too.
Okay, cool.
Of course. Right?
Love it.
Because that gives you much more. So we outline some concepts.
Okay.
And during the complimentary session, we'll look at the ecosystem merger potential you have, how to create more frictionlessness through it to generate more sales meetings, and then where your influence mastery is. What's your heroic, unique identity? If I were to ask you right now, tell me right now why you. And I'm not going to put you on the spot and have you do it, Elena. Right? But if I say why you, tell me why I should build a relationship with you and see my future in you. And if you're not ready to say boom without and that's what most people do. That is so pivotal. And if I were to ask you, what's your mechanism of going from hello to yes with people? Very few people have 99.999% of people do not have a precise functioning way to go from hello to yes. And I will put our stuff with respect against anybody in the world. I've actually made $250,000 bets online and said, anyone try to out-influence me on a neutral set of facts. I don't say that to be egotistical. I say it to reveal truth of like what is, because in the world, there's so many people claiming, come to my program, come into my stuff, you know, and I'm willing to put it out there. So the complimentary coaching session is our offer. There's a link being sent out. We have an amazing program in January that's live. That may not be doable for some, but we also have online programs that are consistent and have live interaction as well, where each day we're connecting people to these concepts of what I have created, which is the formula of formulas. It synthesizes the entire world of personal development into the very simple things people want. You want more higher quality sales meetings, more people saying yes, generating more revenue, eventually creating more time freedom, more magic, more money, less time, more magic. So complimentary coaching session.
So complimentary coaching session is excellent. And that's for literally anyone all over the world, right? The live sessions are not going to happen probably until January.
Correct. But the online sessions are going to begin the beginning of October. So I would get your complimentary coaching session in right away.
That's great. So for those of you who are overseas, you're in another market, it's going to be, you know, you're thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, I live on the other side of the world. What are they talking about? You could begin to at least explore this process starting the beginning of October. And then really, if you decided that you want to come to the United States, come and find us. We're going to be live in one particular location in January. So you've got time. In the meantime, what I'd love to, if you could just either show me in the chat a little bit of love, or you can go onto your screen and tell me, was today's session valuable? Just give me a little hands up, or give me a yes, whatever you want to tell me, because I really want to hear that you're listening, that you're on, and I know you're all waiting for the prize, because I always have some sort of the prize at the end. But okay, so I'm hearing, okay, great. Angie, Luke, that's great. Belle, fabulous. Sihan, Jennifer, 2 exclamation point. Huang Lei, great. Cindy, terrific. I love it. Darren, I love the fact that you're listening and you're finding this of value. I'm always trying to provide value for you. The other thing is, Sean taught me something about speaking, and that was if you're talking to the audience about resolving something for them and providing value for them, and it's not about you, you're going to do a much better job. And I have to say, I recently spoke in Malaysia. I saw some of you live, and I got up on stage and I started thinking about, what does this audience need? And all my fears just kind of fell away. I usually do a crazy, wacky thing. People who've seen me behind stage, I do like a swinging arm thing and all kinds of things to get my breath in alignment so I don't get on stage and go and hyperventilate. And I was back there. And sometimes even as I'm walking up the stairs to the stage, I go, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm about to say. My mind has gone blank. But when I thought about, what does this audience need? I kind of I embodied you, right? And I thought, what does this audience need? My fears and my anxieties kind of drop away. So that's going to also, I think, help you as you begin to talk to your audiences, because all of them are on some sort of social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever you're on. What's the value proposition, and how are you serving your audience?
Could I use for 3 seconds?
Yeah.
So real quickly. So coming off this call to validate that, I know your pain.
Yeah.
So your pain is, how do I talk to people? How do I talk to enough people? How do I not feel weird?
Yeah.
How do I have
not feel anxious?
Not feel anxious.
Yeah.
How do I interact with the fact that it's friends, family, people that might be involved in this? How do I ever approach a professional or somebody outside of my ecosystem? Am I on track?
Yes.
So
amen.
We didn't prep for that.
No, that's.
So I sit down and I think of, who am I communicating with today, and what are their pain and problems? And I have very common denominators for all of these different things. How do you balance your life? What do you do with this? What are the interpersonal dynamics that go on at home about the business and where you're spending time? All of those things, I know who I'm speaking to every time. And so it makes me completely relaxed. I'm here to serve and create more access to solving some of those challenges. Now, obviously, in the time we had today, we can't solve all of those challenges.
No.
But the idea, I know who I'm communicating with. I know the pain. I know the fear. I know the pleasure, desire, dreams, aspirations. I know the holdbacks. And that's how you can communicate with everyone you're communicating with. And that's when you could become, if you're talking to a neurosurgeon, somebody go, I don't even know how to talk to that person.
I'm afraid.
They're all the same.
Yeah.
They all have been somewhere, are somewhere, are going somewhere, have challenges, and have things that are working. Everyone.
Yeah. Amen. Amen.
Thank you.
Okay. So real fast, I'm going to actually post the link down in the bottom here. I have my sweet friend, Tiffany, here, and Tiffany was who works with Sean, and she was kind enough to provide us for links for the complimentary coaching sessions and also for some of the live sessions. Let me just post that in the chat. And I said to Tiffany, in my own crazy mixed up way, how am I going to post this? This is a live webinar. And she said, you don't have a chat? And I was like, oh yeah, the chat. So all of you who know me, who I'm constantly mixed up about all kinds of kooky things, there we go. There's the, there are the links. And those links will be posted and reposted multiple times. Thank you for staying on with us as long as you have. I'm going to announce our 2 winners. Look, actually, if everybody can stay on 2 more minutes, any questions, anyone? Because you're here and you're live. Wouldn't it be great if Sean came back one more time? Maybe in the future? Okay, that would be cool.
Sure,
okay, so questions, anyone? Don't be afraid. I'm looking at some of your cute little faces and I'm thinking, I know you have some questions. Don't let us down. We'll take, let's say 3 questions. Is that fair?
Absolutely.
Okay, questions, anyone in the back? Anyone wanna, Luke says yes, come back. Aww.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Chantal says yes, she has a question. Chantal, you wanna type it for us in the chat for us, please? I know we have a little bit of a delay. And a lot of people said, great content. Christy Layla says, thanks.
Thank you.
Shin Shu says, great. Yes. Winnie Schwa says, yes. Amanda says, yes.
Thank you, Winnie.
So yes. Athena says, yes. Darren says, yes. Xiao Xin Tu says, thank you. So we've really got a lot of people that are responding and and really enthusiastic about the content. Okay,
Awesome.
I'm giving you one more minute if you want to try.
Please take us up in the complimentary session.
Yes, please.
The value, I promise you, just like this call,
yeah,
it's not going to be a sales session. It's going to be a value add for you.
Right.
I promise. And you're going to see things differently that you're not seeing. That's the whole video series I have, is seeing what you don't see. And for so many of us, there's small distinctions that create massive acceleration. And that comes through that complimentary coaching session. So
here's one thing I'm actually going to tell all of you. I did a recording with Sean the other day where he was kind of doing look, Ernie Sosanto says it's an eye opener. That's a good one. Thank you, Ernie. Yeah. We did a podcast, we recorded a podcast, but it was also videotaped, and he led me through some of the steps. We did it here 2 or 3 days ago, right? So if you want to see how if you want me to pull back the veil and see everything, because all is laid bare, folks, you'll be able to see that, and I can post the link for that.
And maybe a distinction is if somebody, instead of thinking of a question you might have, what's your biggest problem? So if somebody's got, like, what's your biggest problem in terms of the business? I'd be happy to answer something like that. But again, if people want to wrap up, we're good too. Okay. So.
Anyone want to give us a biggest problem? I'm looking at all the thinking. I can smell all the wood burning even at this distance. You're all thinking through, what's my biggest problem? See, hon, I see you grinning up there. So we've got a big mix of people on this call. We've got some people that are super experienced. We've got some people that are just starting out.
Awesome.
We've people that have got really big teams. We've got local, we've got international, just looking at I think everyone wants to just use oils, but don't want to commit to spending money on a starter kit. That's what Sue Ann Chin says.
Awesome. So Sue Ann.
Great, Sue Ann.
So I would share that there's every decision everyone makes is simply a value proposition. Do they believe there's more value than expense, period? So what I would encourage you to do is to really sit back and work through a little bit how you're creating that value proposition for them. So, there's never any criticism, but I believe in empowering ownership. So if somebody's not saying yes to you, it's because something is suboptimal, has room for growth in the hello to yes. In that specific category, it would be very simply because they're putting a lower value on it than the cost. So the question would be, how do you recalibrate that for folks? And that's the simple answer. What can you compare it to? What would they not be getting? So not what they're going to be getting, but what would it cost them not to do it? Yeah. That's a key piece of understanding the pain-pleasure dynamic. What's it going to cost them not to do it? In a week, a month, 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years. So whatever the benefits are that they'll be being deprived of, to put them into that loss, that scarcity dynamic with integrity of what they would have. That's what I do. And
I think I think that there's someone else who just typed in something. Lei Xian Leong says they don't want to enroll, but at least I would venture to say that that's the same value proposition. Yeah, if they're not enrolling, they're not enrolling because they don't see the benefit of enrolling. And so that go ahead.
I'm sorry, and potentially, not potentially, and I'm saying this in love, like this is empowering, it's exciting, because sometimes it's like, whoa, that doesn't feel good to land that way. It's how they're seeing the value in their relationship with you, and you're unlocking your own value, your own certainty. That is a critical piece, and this is a superpower, the influence mastery component, to go from low to yes. It is a literal superpower. So as you begin to own yourself more, your own congruence, these are the indispensable elements, your own congruence, your own emotional energetic transference. You have beautiful emotional energetic transference. That's why you grow. If those elements aren't present and there's no emotional energetic transference, these things aren't happening. So that 4 steps, those 10 elements are critical to have mastery over. And that's the solution. So it is the value prop, but it's how that comes across the 4 steps and 10 elements.
Okay, last question. Or actually, Chantal, who was typing before, said her biggest problem is too much ambition and not enough skill set to produce. Constantly feeling limited by my own time and need to dial down on the most important and stay consistent, struggling to know what comes first. What do you think?
Oh my God.
Oh my God, that's a great one.
So ready? That is the key, is the skill set of how to go from hello to yes. Thank you. That was like a setup.
Yeah, right. We didn't plan that.
So we have these aspirational dreams. And I go to rooms of big seminars that are amazing, wonderful, incredible. But sometimes the next step is missing. And that next step is your process mastery and your ability to go from hello to yes. Your self-mastery is the big dream and the discipline to take action. But then the question becomes what action and what the hello to yes skill set. So that's the key. Please take us up on a complimentary coaching session. You know, that was Chantel.
That was her, Chantal. Yeah.
And everybody. I mean,
and she's actually out in Idaho.
Yeah.
So
We're
reaching like coast to coast.
We're going to be in Idaho in February.
Oh, cool.
With Tony Robbins' financial mastery program as part of Platinum.
Oh, Chantal says she already signed up.
Amazing.
Great.
Thank
Love
you,
it.
Chantal.
Okay.
Awesome.
Terrific. Okay, everyone. So I'm wrapping it up now. I'm going to pick our 2 winners for our.
And I'm going to say thank you.
Oh
so
my gosh.
I'm going to give you.
You're leaving me right this minute?
Oh, no. I won't leave right this minute. Should I say?
Yeah, don't leave me right this minute. I'm going to
okay.
Yeah, just hold on for 1 second. I'm going to pick 1 winner, and then I'm going to close it out because I want to say a big thank you to Sean, obviously, for joining us. Okay, so our first winner is, hold on 1 second. Whoops. Oh, and we got tons of people that raised their hand. Sally, Joyce, Ruting, Adeline, Bell, Sue Schultz, Chen Mei, Mariang, Ernie, all of those people raised their hands and said this was a great value proposition and they really loved it and that they enjoyed it. So thank you everybody who was on and raised your hand and are going to take advantage of the free coaching session. I think, look, nothing to lose and really everything to gain. Okay, so our first winner is actually Bell Chin.
Here for Bell Chin, ladies and
gentlemen. Yay, Bell Chin, you are the winner of a lifelong vitality individual packets, which is a cool thing, only available in the United States. I want you to all remember that I'm going to be at convention tomorrow and I'm going to be broadcasting live here on Instagram, on Facebook. So watch all of your different social media platforms for broadcasts live. And if you have not purchased your live sessions yet, please get on and get live streaming. It is a game changer. Even I get live streaming because I'm going to be there, but half the things I miss, I'm trying to take photographs of the slides and I'm missing them. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I need that information so badly. But I can get home from convention and I can hear everything all over again. And I can hear Dr. Hill in repeat because I don't understand half the things that he talks about. So Dr. Hill is actually the medical director of doterra.
Amazing.
And he's a super science guy.
Cool.
But going back to, and this is for all of you, doterra is a company of integrity. And doterra is a company of giving. And doterra is a company that has talked to us time and time again about giving back to your community and sharing and being in integrity. One of the reasons I've never or hardly ever interviewed a guest on this program is because I needed to stand in integrity and honor with the person that co-shared this space with me. And so for 6.5 years, I haven't shared this space, as you know. I've had a couple of people come on and sub for me, as you know. I've had an illness or whatever, or some sort of other, but most of those are just your doterra upline. So this is a unique, I want you to understand that this is really an amazing opportunity for this group, but just also my way of saying thank you to you that I would not share this space with just anyone. So from all of us, everyone out there who's listening, just thank you from the bottom of our heart.
And I will share what a person of integrity Elena is, because even when she was perceiving value and seeing things, she's like, I just want to make sure I can like calibrate the growth in the numbers. Like, all right, this has been awesome. Like, now we'll do it. That's who you have here as a leader. So thank you.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to give you a hug.
Thank
you so much. And our second winner actually is going to be Chen Mei. Congratulations, Chen Mei. So our 2 winners today are Bell Chin and Chen Mei. Chen Mei.
Awesome.
And so we'll be announcing all the winners and this call and everything and all the links online. So stay tuned in the next couple of days. I'm super excited that you were all here. Have a wonderful day. And as I always say, you are amazing. Doesn't matter what I say or do. You all have such beautiful hearts. And I'm just so honored to be in this space with you every week. So have a wonderful week. And I'll see you back here. I'll see you back here next Monday, but I'll see you every day this week on social media. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.